All right, Yankees fans. Hope you're all having a fantastic day. Big news coming out of the Bronx. Another pitcher has just been signed, and there's a lot to unpack here. We're going to dive deep into who this player is, why the Yankees decided to bring him back, and what this move could mean for the team's depth going forward. So let's get right into it. The Yankees have made the decision to bring back a familiar face, someone who already wore the pinstripes back in 2019 and again in 2020. In his first year with the Yankees, this guy had an impressive run. He appeared in 73 games, posted a phenomenal earned run average of 1.95, and racked up 88 strikeouts in just over 66 innings pitched. That's the kind of production you dream of from your bullpen. He was reliable, consistent, and gave the team some serious value whenever he stepped on the mound. Unfortunately, the following season didn't go as well. In 2020, he struggled significantly, finishing with an ERA close to 6 across 24 appearances. That sharp decline raised eyebrows and eventually led to him parting ways with the team. After his stint in New York, he ended up joining the Boston Red Sox and then spent the last 3 years playing for the New York Mets. With the Mets, he was serviceable. Last season alone, he made 60 appearances and recorded an ERA of 4.3 with 70 strikeouts in 56 innings. Not elite numbers, but certainly not terrible either. He still showed flashes of what made him such a strong reliever during his time with the Yankees. Most recently, he was back with the Red Sox during this year's spring training, trying to earn a spot on the main roster. However, things didn't go his way. His spring performance was rough. He posted an ERA north of 10, which obviously wasn't going to cut it at the major league level. As a result, he didn't make the team and was left looking for another opportunity. That opportunity came when the Yankees found themselves shorthanded. Devin Williams went on paternity leave, and JT Brubaker was placed on the 60-day injured list. Suddenly, there was an open slot, and the Yankees chose to fill it with someone they already knew, someone who had proven in the past that he could contribute. It's a move that makes sense when you're looking to patch up the bullpen without making a long-term commitment. And hey, congratulations to Devin Williams and his family on the new arrival. That's always a special moment in anyone's life, and we wish them nothing but the best. But that wasn't the only reunion the Yankees orchestrated. They also brought back another player who had been with them during spring training. This guy had a strong showing in camp, putting up solid numbers, but ultimately chose to opt out of his contract. The reason? The Yankees were looking for a right-handed bat, and he's a lefty. That created a bit of a roster logjam, and he probably felt he wouldn't get the opportunity he deserved. So he bet on himself and looked elsewhere, hoping for a bigger role, maybe even a starting gig with another organization. He had every reason to feel optimistic. His spring was excellent. He hit close to .300, finishing with a batting average of .297, smacked 3 home runs, drove in 12 runs, and posted an OPS of 857. Those are numbers that'll catch any scout's eye. You put up those stats in spring training, and naturally, you start thinking about what else is out there. Maybe a team with a clearer path to playing time, maybe a chance to be more than just organizational depth. But sometimes, the market just doesn't open up the way you hope it will. For whatever reason, that opportunity didn't materialize, and now he's rejoining the Yankees on a minor league deal. So here we are again. A player who had a brief but notable stint with the Yankees is back in the fold. The big question is, can he pick up where he left off? Can he replicate the success he had the first time around? Or is this more of a depth move to give the Yankees some flexibility as the season unfolds? Most likely, it's the latter. This doesn't feel like a long-term piece being slotted into a key role. It's more of a calculated move, someone who knows the organization, understands the expectations, and could be called upon if the team needs a left-handed bat in the near future. Even if the upside is limited, it's a low-risk signing that could pay off if the need arises. It's always interesting to see these reunions happen. Baseball careers can be unpredictable. One moment, a player is thriving in a big market like New York, and the next, they're bouncing around trying to find a stable spot. What stands out about both of these returning players is that they've already shown flashes of what they're capable of. And sometimes, all a guy needs is the right situation to unlock that potential again. It could be a confidence thing, it could be a matter of fit, or it could just come down to timing. Either way, it's good to see the Yankees keeping their options open and looking for internal solutions when the roster needs a quick fix. The Yankees front office seems to be taking a very pragmatic approach right now. They're not panicking, not rushing to make splashy moves just for the sake of headlines. Instead, they're bringing in guys who know the system, who can slide into roles when needed, and who offer familiarity in a clubhouse that's already chasing high expectations. These aren't blockbuster signings, but they're the kind of under-the-radar moves that can make a difference in the long grind of a baseball season. And let's not forget, this is a team that knows pressure. Every year, there's an expectation to compete at the highest level, to make the postseason, and to chase a World Series title. With that comes a constant need to evaluate and reevaluate the roster, always making sure the right pieces are in place. The Yankees know they can't afford to fall behind, especially in a competitive division where every win matters. So even these small roster tweaks, like bringing back a reliever who had past success or a position player with a hot spring, could be just what the team needs to stay sharp and prepared for what's ahead. It's also a reminder of how quickly things can change in baseball. One week you're outside the organization, and the next, you're getting the call to suit up again. That's the beauty and the brutality of the game. The window for opportunity is always open, if only just a crack, and players have to be ready to jump through it the second it appears. For these two returning Yankees, that crack just got a little wider, and it'll be up to them to make the most of it. As the season progresses, we'll keep an eye on how these moves play out. Whether they turn into key contributors or just remain as insurance depth, it's good to see the Yankees being proactive. Depth wins championships, and having experienced players ready to step in at a moment's notice can be a game changer. We'll see how it all shakes out. Now, let's shift gears and talk about some of the incredible performances we've seen from Yankees players so far this season, particularly focusing on Aaron Judge. There's been a lot of buzz recently surrounding the so-called torpedo bats, and if you haven't heard about them yet, this is definitely something you'll want to pay attention to. Now, Judge, as one of the biggest stars in baseball, is known for his ability to hit with power, but interestingly, he's not one of the players who uses a torpedo bat. And you know what? I'm totally fine with that. If the torpedo bat helps a player, I'm all for it, but I also don't think there's anything wrong with sticking with what works for you. Every player is different, and what works for one might not work for another. But let's dive into what these torpedo bats are all about and why they've been causing such a stir. First, for those of you who aren't familiar with the concept, torpedo bats are a new trend that some MLB teams have been experimenting with. The idea behind these bats is that they have a more unique shape, designed to maximize power and increase the speed of the ball off the bat. They're supposed to have a different weight distribution and a more compact sweet spot, which theoretically can help hitters get more distance on their hits. Teams like the Dodgers and Braves have already placed orders for these bats, and the Cubs have incorporated them into their lineup as well. In fact, one of their players used a torpedo bat last season and had some success with it. So, it's not just a Yankees thing. Other teams are trying these bats out too, and that's really important because it shows that the concept is gaining traction across the league. But let's be real here for a second. Aaron Judge isn't one of those players using a torpedo bat, and that's perfectly fine. After all, we're talking about a guy who has become one of the most dominant hitters in the game using the traditional bat. Judge is a once-in-a-generation talent, and his swing doesn't need any gimmicks to generate power. His approach at the plate is pure, and it's worked for him spectacularly. Even though some of the other big hitters are experimenting with these new bats, Judge is out there doing what he does best with his regular bat and putting up absolutely ridiculous numbers. His recent performance has been nothing short of legendary. To put things into perspective, Aaron Judge is off to an absolutely scorching start to the season. As reported by MLB Network, in his last 134 regular season games, Judge has posted a .358 batting average, blasted 58 home runs, driven in 142 RBIs, and posted an OPS of 1.294. Let that sink in for a moment. That's a level of production that most players can only dream of, and it has some serious historical context when you look at how those numbers compare to the greats of the game. For instance, if we go back to the 1927 season, we see a similar level of dominance from a player who had a .356 batting average, hit 60 home runs, and knocked in 165 RBIs. That year, that legendary player posted an OPS of 1.258, which is impressive in its own right. But to see Judge's numbers lined up next to such an iconic season is a testament to just how incredible he's been over the past couple of seasons. There's no denying it. Judge is putting up numbers that place him among the best to ever play the game. When we talk about legends, we often bring up players like Babe Ruth, Lou Gehrig, and Mickey Mantle. But let's be clear, Aaron Judge is firmly in that conversation now. He's not just another good player. He's one of the best hitters in Yankees history, and that's saying a lot considering the history and tradition of this franchise. Judge's performance, especially over the last 134 games, has been absolutely remarkable. The comparisons to players from the golden age of baseball are well-deserved, and the fact that he continues to excel without resorting to the latest trends, like the torpedo bat, only makes his achievements even more impressive. It's like he's saying, I don't need a gimmick to be great, I just need my bat and my talent. But let's dive a little deeper into why Judge's stats are so remarkable. When you look at his career, it's clear that he's not just a flash in the pan. He's been doing this consistently. The power is real, the average is real, and the ability to drive in runs is off the charts. To put it into perspective, he's already exceeded a .1000 OPS 4 times in his career. That's not something that happens every day in Major League Baseball. Some of the best hitters in the game, current stars and past legends, would love to have just one season where their OPS tops 1,000. But Judge has done it 4 times, and he's pushing for a 5th this season. That is elite company. For comparison, let's talk about another player who's had an MVP-caliber career. This player has had a couple of standout seasons, including 2022 and 2024, when he posted an OPS over 1.100 and claimed his MVP award. Those are fantastic seasons, don't get me wrong. But even with those incredible achievements, it's hard to argue that he's at the same level as Judge. Sure, he's had some great years, but he hasn't consistently reached the heights that Judge has been hitting year after year. That's the difference between a player who is good and a player who is truly great. And make no mistake, Judge is great. And I'm not saying the other player isn't great. He is. He's one of the best players in the league, no doubt about it. But when you start looking at the numbers and breaking them down, it's hard to ignore just how much Judge has accomplished and continues to accomplish. We're talking about a guy who, in his last 134 games, has a .358 batting average. When do you ever see a power hitter hitting .358? That's almost unheard of. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. Judge's overall body of work, his consistency, and his ability to perform under pressure set him apart from nearly everyone in the league today. To make it even more interesting, Judge's OPS is currently sitting at 1.220. For those of you keeping score, that's higher than the other player I mentioned, who has only reached 1.100 OPS in his career a couple of times. This is what sets Judge apart. He's not just a one-year wonder or a player who has a hot streak now and then. He's someone who has been able to maintain this level of excellence over a sustained period of time. And that's a rare thing to see in Major League Baseball. In fact, when you look at his entire career, Judge's numbers are starting to put him in the conversation with some of the best right-handed hitters to ever play the game. He has the potential to be remembered as one of the greatest hitters in Yankees history, and perhaps even one of the greatest right-handed hitters of all time. He's already among the top 5 all-time players in terms of WRC+, weighted runs created plus, which is a metric that measures a player's overall offensive production relative to the league average. That's incredible company to be in. And to think, this guy still has more to prove. It's crazy to think that some people still criticize Judge, especially after the postseason struggles of the previous year. But this is a reminder of just how difficult it is to maintain greatness in the postseason. The pressure, the competition, it all gets ratcheted up. But that doesn't take away from what Judge has done in the regular season. He has been nothing short of spectacular, and it's time we fully appreciate what we're witnessing. Because players like him don't come around every day. The Yankees may never see a talent like Judge again. And if we're lucky, we'll be able to watch him continue to rewrite the record books for years to come. I'm not going to say that Judge is the best player to ever wear the Yankees uniform, because history is full of legends who did extraordinary things. But right now, there's no denying that Judge is one of the most dominant, most consistent, and most electrifying players to ever step onto the field. He's already accomplished so much, and the future is looking even brighter for this guy. As Yankees fans, we should be incredibly grateful to watch him play every day. Who knows how many more records he'll break, how many more home runs he'll hit, and how many more MVP awards he'll collect before all is said and done. One thing's for sure, though, his legacy in pinstripes will be remembered for generations to come. But before we continue, please remember to join our channel and give this video a like. Your support allows us to keep bringing you the latest news about the New York Yankees. Feel free to share your thoughts on the news in the comments. A storm is brewing in the New York Yankees locker room, and it all revolves around one name, Cody Bellinger. The once immensely talented outfielder, who was brought in from the Chicago Cubs in a trade this offseason, has already sparked whispers and concerns within the organization. Rumors are swirling that Aaron Boone, the Yankees manager, has expressed frustration with Bellinger's impact on the team's chemistry. Could the 2024 World Series champion be bringing more than just his bat to New York? According to sources close to the team, Boone is worried that Bellinger's presence could be contaminating the carefully cultivated environment in the clubhouse. While these reports remain unofficial, the implications are serious for a team looking to build on a successful playoff run in 2024. Bellinger's impressive resume, including an MVP award and multiple All-Star selections, makes him a valuable addition on paper, but there are growing concerns that his off-field behavior could disrupt the harmony the Yankees have worked so hard to maintain. What's causing such unrest? Some insiders suggest that Bellinger's personality might not mesh well with the Yankees' tight-knit group. There have been subtle indications that his individualistic nature and focus on personal achievements might be at odds with the team-first mentality that Boone and general manager Brian Cashman have worked hard to instill. For a team that thrived on unity, any sign of division could be dangerous as they chase a World Series title. Boone, known for his calm demeanor and leadership style, is no stranger to managing high-profile personalities. Yet, this latest challenge is different. Bellinger, despite his accolades, has experienced a roller coaster career full of ups and downs. His performance in 2024 showed flashes of his former self, but questions about his consistency linger. The Yankees, with their storied legacy, may not have the luxury of waiting for Bellinger to fully regain his top form, especially if it means disrupting team chemistry. The coming months will be crucial for both Cody Bellinger and the Yankees. How he responds to the challenges of a new environment, and whether or not Boone can keep the locker room united, will likely determine whether the Yankees can continue their postseason success or if this internal rift will be the thing that ultimately derails their championship hopes. The stakes are high, and with every game, the pressure mounts. Could the Yankees' title aspirations be threatened by a player they once hoped would be the missing piece? Only time will tell. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the New York Yankees, please subscribe to our channel and give us a like. We always appreciate your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.